I'm Rob Skinner, and this is the Rob Skinner Podcast. What if the facts of your life aren't the real problem? Carl Menninger once said, attitudes are more important than facts. Now, that sounds risky until you realize it's biblical. From a prison cell, the Apostle Paul discovered a mindset so powerful, it changed history, it changed everything. Today, we're talking about the attitude that moves mountains no matter the facts. All this and more on the Rob Skinner Podcast. Welcome back to the Rob Skinner Podcast. My goal is to inspire you to live a no-regrets life, make this life count, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Carl Menninger once said, attitudes are more important than facts. Now, that's a bold statement, especially in a world that runs on data, evidence, and logic, but he's absolutely right. Because it's not the facts of your situation that determine your future, it's your attitude towards those facts. Two people can face the exact same challenge. One grows stronger through it, and the other person collapses under it. The difference isn't circumstances, it's mindset. Now, the Apostle Paul totally understood this. From a Roman prison cell, chained and uncertain of his future, he wrote this, rejoice in the Lord always. That's Philippians 4:4. Okay, you'd never expect to hear that from a prisoner in a cell. Rejoice in the Lord always. Just don't go together. He also wrote, I've learned the secret of being content in every situation. That's Philippians 4:12. Paul's facts weren't good, but his attitude was absolutely unshakable. And that's why he tells us in Philippians 2:5, in your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus. What mindset did Jesus have? Well, he faced betrayal, suffering, misunderstanding, rejection, and death. And yet he kept an attitude of love, humility, and obedience. His mindset transformed everything around him. The facts would point to the fact that he should get angry, mad, just resentful, but that's not what he allowed to control his life. It was totally his attitude, his mindset. I've seen this play out so many times in my own life. There have been times when the facts did not look good. Ministry challenges, financial pressure, discouraging news, setbacks. And my natural instinct was to focus on what's wrong. But every time I shifted my attitude when I prayed, instead of complained, when I thanked God, instead of doubting him, something changed. Not always the situation, but me. Suddenly I'd see the opportunity where once I saw obstacles, hope, where I once saw hopelessness. And that's really the power of attitude. It opens the door for God to move. It just happened to be this past weekend. Pam was away at a women's retreat. I was left at home, which was fine, and just getting ready. I was scheduled to preach on Sunday. But it was a tough sermon to prepare. It wasn't easy. I was just like really struggling to put it together. Sometimes I'll write a sermon. It's just like, boom, just kind of drops out of the sky. Just all I have to do is type it down. And it doesn't always happen that way. But this one was tougher. I had to think through. I started on Tuesday and I worked on a Wednesday and I worked it on Friday and I was working on a Saturday and just kind of struggling and also feeling anxious about it. And I talked to Stuart and who disciples me and, just say, hey, I woke up kind of down this morning. I just wasn't feeling great about this lesson. And yet on the day of, I just thought, okay, I got to shake this off. This is weird. I put good work into this. This sermon's going to help somebody. This is going to help somebody. And I just prayed about it on the way to church, and a big storm was coming in Sunday afternoon, but I just prayed on the way to church that somehow this sermon would help somebody. And it was so encouraging because I preached the lesson and it was a skeleton crowd. I mean, it's like a third of the normal people. All the women were gone. So many people weren't there because of the snowstorm. So it was like, hello, everybody out there. And yet, right after I finished, a father came up to me. This guy I'd never met. Gives me a big bear hug, and just says, "Man, that lesson really helped me and my family. Thank you so much." And I'm like, I don't usually get that after sermons these days. That's kind of a thing from 30 or 40 years ago, but not that. Then his mom, the mom comes up and she's talking to me, and she's talking to me about how it just really helped. I did a lesson on Esau and about how her son has drifted away, but she really wants him to come back. And I just really helped her. And then the son himself, the person who had been baptized about 10 years ago, he comes up to me and goes, "Man, that was a really good lesson. And I'd like to talk to you more." I said, "Would you like to get together and maybe study the Bible or something?" He goes, "Yeah, I would." And we studied the Bible yesterday at lunch. So even though the circumstances weren't great, I just decided, okay, I just got to let this go. Just got to get my mind right here about this lesson because it's somehow going to help somebody. And it did. And so it's not your facts, it's your attitude. That's the power of attitude. It just opens up the door for God to move. Now, let me ask you something. What are the facts in your life right now that feel really unchangeable? Maybe the doctor's report isn't good. Maybe your ministry isn't growing like you hoped and you're like really struggling with it. Maybe the relationship that you're in feels strained or cold. Maybe those are just the facts, the way it is. They are facts, but your attitude toward them determines what happens next. When your mindset aligns with faith, gratitude, and perseverance, you start to see the same situation differently. You start to believe, listen, God can work this out. There is a way. It may not feel right. Your feelings may betray you and feel like, I don't see anything. I don't see how this could work. You start acting in ways that move you toward the miracles instead of away from them. And that's why the 10X Christian mindset isn't just about doing more, it's about thinking higher. Faith doesn't ignore facts, it just refuses to be limited by them. And that's so important. Today, take just a few minutes to examine your attitude and ask yourself, is my attitude in line with my goals? Is my mindset aligned with Christ? Am I looking at this through faith or through fear and anxiety? You can't always control your circumstances. You can't always control your feelings, but you can always control your attitude. And when your attitude lines up with faith, facts start to lose their power because mountains move not when the facts change, but when your faith-filled mindset does. So remember, attitudes are more important than facts. Keep yours aligned with Jesus and watch what God does next. Thanks for listening. Here's how you can help support the program. Please sign up for my weekly newsletter. I want to keep in better touch with you. All you need to do is just go to my website, robskinner.com. And I appreciate the people who've done it this last week and just sign up because my goal is to inspire you to live a no regrets life, make this life count, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Have an awesome day and make this life count.